Hey, did you know that the 1970s was mostly dominated by police dramas? Yeah, it's true. They were. People of a certain age certainly know this. And the way these dramas would work is you would have a murder, and then you would have an investigation. You would have clues and people of interest, and then they would narrow in on the murderer who would be probably at the end, and sometimes a somebody you could figure out, and sometimes you couldn't. There would be some little drama twist. Person of interest. They had, a warrant to arrest a person or to investigate, but there's usually a probable cause in there toward the end. Well, that's not the way that the police sex stings are done right now. The proactive stings, of course, are proactive. That means that you get ahead of it. The problem is the Constitution doesn't really allow proaction at all. So in the Constitution, you're supposed to have a reasonable or articulable, as it's called sometimes, suspicion. Then you have, in preliminary investigation, you have probable cause. Then you get a affidavit based on what your findings or what your alleged findings are. Then you have a warrant, and you proceed from there with your investigation. What they do today, however, is a fishing expedition. And it's not like they do like the police do with speed traps where they wait at the bottom of the hill, which is, of course, bad enough because they know full well you're going to speed up going down the hill. And it's kind of fun to do that sometimes. It's also difficult to be tapping your brakes the whole time. In fact, if you study the law for driver's ed, you're not supposed to be tapping the brakes. You're supposed to be going at a steady rate of speed, and the brakes are there for an emergency basis or for a customary basis, such as when you're coming to a stop sign. You're not supposed to be going so fast that you're leaning on the brakes or even tapping them greatly as you're going downhill. Well, this is kind of interesting because what police do on the dating sites is even more egregious than waiting at the bottom of the hill. What they do is they actively get involved in scheming. And now the average and ordinary person out there is saying, well, I want them to be scheming to grab the pedophile, but you don't understand what I'm saying. They're not sitting there already with articulable suspicion and probable cause and a suspect in mind and the target in their sights, and now they have to weave the plan. Like if you were trying to get rid of prostitution or break a prostitution ring, and you have an attractive petite female officer of maybe 25 or even 40 who can look 25, and you put her at the corner, or a male officer who has effeminate features or feminine features, excuse me. That's not what they do, you see. They weave an elaborate bait and switch where they coerce you, they persuade you, they pressure you, they tell you that you can only, they first find out what your kink is, so to speak, and then they go after you, or what your angle is. In my case, I was immediately trying to help a child. They immediately realized, I guess, because there was no sex talk, so there wasn't really any kink, but they certainly took advantage of my proactive stance to try to help someone. Like they take advantage of people who are drugged out when they're online, or they take advantage of people who have dementia who are online, or people who are intellectually disabled, like the autistic, who are desperate for some kind of social connection online, which is very easy. They don't have to look in people's eyes. They can be a totally brave person behind the keyboard. Or they take advantage of somebody who really was trying to help someone to weave a narrative. Is that the type of scenario you want? Because the crime dramas of the 70s, folks, were based on actual crime in progress or having been done, not fabricated crimes to gin up statistics.